now we are going to read about the reversible and irreversible cell injury. How can we differentiate and understand the each steps and processes that are occurring in reversible and irreversible cell injury? Let's read. In reversible cell injury, what happens? The cell can return back again to its normal condition by changing in certain kind of cell condition. But in irreversible, the injuries are so much severe that the cell is unable to return to the normal condition. So the final result is the cell death in irreversible condition, irreversible cell injury. Then in reversible, it is sublethal and short acting. Sublethal means it is not that much affecting or not that much dangerous to the cell, and it is acting for a short period of time, while it is lethal and long acting. If the injuries will remain in the cell for a long period of time, then it will be called as an irreversible cell injury, and finally the injury will cause the cell death. The third one is it can be treated with drugs because it can the cell condition can be changed, and it the injured cell can again revert back to normal cell condition. But here, when the irreversible injury occurs in the cell, there will be no treatment for the cell, while there will be the permanent loss of the cell. What happens actually in reversible? In reversible, the sodium potassium pumps that are present in the membrane will not be functioning properly. There will be malfunctioning of sodium and potassium pump, and due to which there will be loss of homeostasis. And I have said you that ATP acts as an important thing for maintaining the homeostasis. If the proper amount of energy or ATP is not supplied to the cell, then it will cause some kind of injury. So these are the two things that will be forming the cell swelling and clumping of chromatin. Clumping means there will be aggregation of some chromatin fibers inside the nucleus, that is known as clumping of chromatin. Then this will result in no rupture of cell membrane. This is the final result in which the reversible and irreversible can be differentiated, is that the cell membrane will not rupture in the reversible, and whereas in irreversible the cell membrane will rupture. Here the same things occur, that sodium potassium malfunctions occurs and loss of homeostasis causing to cell swelling. Then cell and organelle swellings will occur. But one thing here it is important, that the chromatin that are present in the nucleus will completely get destroyed. So there will be no kind of genetic material present inside the nucleus that will be causing the destruction of nucleus as well as the organelles that are related with the nucleus. And wholly the cell membrane also ruptures, that is the distinguishing features of reversible and irreversible cell injury. And as the cell ruptures totally, so there will be cell death, and according to cell death there are two types, as we have discussed: apoptosis and necrosis. Okay, so now we are going to read about the mechanism of reversible and irreversible reaction. How the cell get injured during reversible, and what will be the cause to cell death in irreversible condition of cell injury. So let's start. So it is a condition of starting from ischemia. If there will be less amount of oxygen supply through hypoxic condition, and then ischemia means there will be less amount of oxygen supply to the tissue or organ. Then if there will be less amount of oxygen supply to organ, tissue, or then to the cell, then there will be defect showing in mitochondria. The mitochondria cannot perform the oxidative phosphorylation, and that oxidative phosphorylation is important in synthesis of ATP, our energy. Okay, so there will be less oxidative phosphorylation, and so there will be less ATP synthesis. The ischemia also directly uh, The ischemia also directly affects the membrane of the cell, that causes the membrane injury, and that helps in influx of calcium ions, rapid influx of calcium ion due to increase in calcium ion influx. The ischemia also affects the membrane, that will be causing the membrane injury. Due to this membrane injury, there will be increase in calcium ion influx. The calcium ion is a strong inhibitor of this oxidative phosphorylation. As there will be increase in calcium ion and as there will be less oxygen supply, so there will be less amount of oxidative phosphorylation reaction occurring, so it will be causing henceforth decrease in ATP synthesis. Now question comes that if there will be ATP synthesis less, then what will happen? The sodium potassium pump that are present in the cell membrane will not function properly. There will be dysfunctional procedure of the sodium potassium pump. Due to this, the first reason will there will be more influx of calcium ion. Secondly, there will be efflux of potassium and influx of sodium ion. Initially, the sodium potassium pump helps in influx of potassium ion and efflux of sodium ion. That is the 3:2 ratio of sodium and potassium, or sodium outflux and potassium influx. Okay, so this was the previous activity of pump, but there will be dysfunction in the activity of pump. There will be efflux of potassium and influx of sodium ion and water. Due to influx of more amount of water, the cell will accumulate more water inside it, so there will be cellular swelling and some organelles also swells, that is endoplasmic reticulum swelling, then loss of the microvilli, then blebs, also the cytoskeleton gets affected. Then due to decrease of ATP synthesis, more thing what happens, as the ATP will not be released, there cannot be the aerobic glycolysis cannot perform, so there will be anaerobic glycolysis. In anaerobic glycolysis, there will be formation of lactic acid. Due to the presence of acid, the pH decreases and the glycogen amount will also decrease. Due to decrease of pH, as the intracellular condition of the cell becomes acidic, so the intracellular release and activation of lysosomal enzymes takes place. If there will be activation of the lysosomal enzymes, it will digest the proteins, lipids, fat, or the structural components of different organelles that are present inside the cells, directly affecting the cells, and that will cause to the cellular digestion and it will cause the cell death. And then the third thing, if the ATP synthesis will be affected, what other things will happen? Through this, we have influx of sodium and water. There will be endoplasmic reticular swelling. Due to the endoplasmic reticular swelling, there will be detachment of ribosomes. Ribosomes cannot firmly attach through the endoplasmic reticulum, so it will detach from the endoplasmic reticulum. The ribosomes are mainly important for protein synthesis, and there will be no more protein synthesis, there will be increase in lipid synthesis. So here comes the accumulative pathology of lipid. Accumulative pathology of lipid means intracellular or extracellular lipid accumulation, means as there will be increase in lipid synthesis. So finally, through this, now we know that through reversible, the cell can can revert to its original or normal cellular activity, but in irreversible, once it has reached the membrane injury, it will cause the cellular swelling and endoplasmic reticulum, loss of microvilli, the cytoskeleton will be disturbed due to decrease in pH, intracellular release and activation of lysosomal enzymes. Due to this lysosomal enzymes, there will be cellular digestion and finally it will be causing the cell death. Okay. So this was all about our today's topic. If you like the video, if this video was useful and informative for you, so please like and do share and subscribe my channel. Thank you.